The annual event held on the Zoom webinar platform gave an overview of the performance of the sector. Participants included the Minister of Mines and Energy, Tom Alwendo, and staff from his ministry, Chamber of Mines leadership, and stakeholders from the industry. The Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber, Western Malango, during his presentation said that despite downsized mining operations due to the pandemic, which led to low production for some operations and supply disruptions, the sector paid $5.5 billion, which is 15% of revenue toward government in taxes and dividends in 2020.
Total revenue to government, that is everything combined, corporate taxes, royalties, export levy, pay-as-you-earn, dividends, that comes to 5.4 billion Namibian dollars. And over the last 5-7 years, we've actually been consistent in paying to government over 5 billion Namibian dollars. In this particular case, for last year, this constitutes almost 16% of the total revenue generated by the industry. The public is always wondering, there's always a discussion of how much stays in the country and how much goes outside the country. And we at the Chamber are proud to mention that over the years, 80% of what we generate stays actually in the country. For last year, this amounted to 74.8% of the revenue that we generated stayed and circulated in the economy, which is very healthy. In terms of contribution to GDP, Chair, last year, the industry contributed 10.1% to GDP, compared to 9.4% the previous year.
The sector currently provides 14,000 direct jobs, of which 97% are Namibians. Malango said the year has been challenging for many, but some industry players continue to expand operations.
Namib Lead and Zinc is the only mine that really was placed on care and maintenance due to COVID pandemic. Because as I've just mentioned, the commodity prices plummeted. This is an operation, a small operation relatively, which was just ramping up at that time. And then, of course, the COVID regulations made it practically very difficult for this operation to continue with social distancing in a confined space underground, becoming very challenging. We lost 129 jobs as a result. On the other hand, Scorpion Zinc was also placed on care and maintenance in April. But however, this was not COVID related, because in any case, the mine was actually planned to be placed on care and maintenance in May. It was a scheduled shutdown in May due to the depletion of the ore body in the open pit. And then, of course, then safety concerns regarding multiple slope failures led to the early closure of the mine, and we lost approximately 1,700 employees. B2Gold commenced with the development of an underground mine, so the extension of the Wolfshag underground project at the Oshikoto Gold Mine. And the inaugural blast took place on the 30th of October last year. This is an investment of about 850 million Namibian dollars, and the underground mine is expected to commence operations in January 2022. Other developments, De Beers Marine made a decision to lay up the mining vessel Grand Banks from November last year to the second half of 2022 due to the supply chain bottlenecks and low demand for diamonds. And this was challenging as a result of COVID, and because then in the diamond pipe, the diamonds were not moving. And the main challenge was actually in the cutting and polishing industry, particularly in India, because every time the factories were working, there would be positive cases, and the factories would be forced to close down. So that disruption impacted us here in Namibia.
The Mines and Energy Minister said the contribution of the sector is significant to the economic development of the country and called for collaborative efforts that will ensure that it thrives.
With all that contribution of $33 billion to the economy, to what extent does it really improve the production capacity of the economy? Because that is really what it is, what we need to do. In other words, that contribution, does it really become a catalyst for economic development and therefore for increasing the production capacity of the economy? For example, the figure for local spend, that clearly strictly goes to the increasing of the production capacity of the local economy. And that's, I think, where we need to concentrate our effort as we go forward. So let me just again thank all of you who have made this possible. And as I said, we need to continue with our collective efforts to collaborate and coordinate to ensure that the mining sector continue to be an important catalyst for economic development and in the economy.
It was also mentioned that Namibia's investment attractiveness in comparison to Africa and the rest of the world has declined in recent years. Global commodity prices also dropped in the first half of 2020 and started to increase at the end of the year as economies recovered from the pandemic.